everyone, and welcome to this week's video. This one is a little bit different. It is not a wood turning, but it is wood and resin, and I'm going to be building a coffee table. And the pictures that you see on the screen are from the place where I got the black walnut, and it is a amazing store in Florida. Eco Relics is the name of the store in Jacksonville, so if you're in the area, please check them out. They have lots of cool stuff. Lots of wood and lots of other stuff. Lots of architectural salvage type things. I personally could spend hours in there. But I left with this really beautiful piece of black walnut, and here what you see me doing is having a piece of melamine, measuring the board, and cutting the mold for the piece so I can pour some resin in. Clamped a straight edge there, and I'm using the Makita sort of smaller circular handsaw, I can't remember what it's called actually, to cut the piece of melamine. Hey, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button while you're here. That'd be awesome. Thanks in advance. And after the piece of melamine is cut to size, I start mixing the resin. This is the Total Boat thick set, and I used a 1 gallon kit for this and just a little bit more. But I only showed the 1 gallon kit getting mixed up. And this is the hardener for the thick set. And mixing it with a paddle on the drill. Making sure to mix it thoroughly. I don't film all of the mixing, but a good part of it here. And before I put the pigment in, and for the pigment I'm going to be using a Black Diamond brand, and it's called Diamond Aluminum for the color. And I will link everything that I use in the video description. But this is the Black Diamond Aluminum. Making sure to mix the pigment in thoroughly. Deciding if I need to add more. And it's hard to tell with it in the large bucket, so one of the tricks I use that I picked up somewhere along the way on YouTube from another maker is to get some of the pigment in a see-through cup. So there's a smaller amount there, and as you can see it's pretty see-through there, even though it doesn't look like it in the large bucket. So I put some more pigment in to try to darken it up a little bit. And it's a little bit darker. And I'm adding some Epoxy black pigment to darkening up just a little bit more. And mixing that in thoroughly. And the great thing about the thick set, other than that you can pour it thicker, obviously, is this. There is a decent working time. It's a decent open time. So everyone loves an epoxy pour. So here we go with that. it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you're pouring, even though you might have taken all your time with the mold and making sure it's put together very well. If resin is going to find a way out, it will find a way out. I was lucky with this one that there were no leaks, but trust me, I've had leaks in molds before that I've spent a lot of time building, so that's why this part is always nerve-wracking, because resin is not cheap. And if you have a spill, like I think anyone who's worked with resin has had a spill before, or a mold leak, it's a very costly mistake. Here I'm pushing down on the black walnut to make sure it is flat with the mold and it's not moving up. There was, I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a little bit of movement. So you can see it right there. It was starting to flow up a little bit. So I added some weight via these large parallel clamps while I did the final pour. And you can put designs in the resin if you do it before it hardens up, before it cures. But you have to keep checking. Like doing it at this point really wasn't the right timing to do it. I needed to wait until it was much more close to curing so that the design would stick. Nonetheless, I started doing it here, and then I actually added another small bucket of resin to top it off. As you can see that it was sticking out a little bit, the walnut. So off camera I added a little bit more resin, and here are some photos of the piece curing. And now on to the finish. Now I should mention that before finishing this there was hours and hours and hours of sanding, which I didn't film because, well, it was boring, but sanded and sanded and sanded. So this finish, as you might have saw on the screen, this finish is Rubio Monocoat with low or no VOCs, and this is a natural finish. And after it penetrates for about 15 minutes, you wipe off the excess or buff off. And this was my first time using Rubio Monocoat, and the reason I tried it is because of, well, number one, the reviews. It has great reviews, and also because it is a one-coat finish. I didn't want to spend a lot of time applying and reapplying different coats. I wanted to be, get this done and finished, and this allowed me to do that. Now, after the finish fully cures in about 3 to 7 days, you can start using it. You can use it in 3 days, but really wouldn't put any bottled water or any glasses of water on it until a full 7 days has passed. So I'm getting the buffer out here to give it a final buff. Might have been unnecessary, but I wanted it to have a nice matte sheen, which it ended up having, so I was happy. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you're watching and you've enjoyed it or got something out of it, please consider subscribing. There is a subscribe icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I'd be much appreciative. So the next step after the finish is to attach the legs, and these hairpin legs I got from Amazon. I will link those in the video description as well. And again, the reason for getting these kinds of legs is because, well, I don't have a table saw, so it was difficult to really design and finish any legs myself. So while I do want to do that in the future, these really just were the right thing for this project. I didn't want anything to really take away from the table, but wanted something sort of minimalist or mid-century, if you will. And these did that trick. So after measuring carefully at least twice, I drilled some pilot holes and attached the legs with 1-inch screws. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. There are some photos at the end of the final coffee table all set up with the legs, so stick around to see those. Let me know what you think in the video comments. I really appreciate to know what you guys think. Thumbs up or thumbs down, either way. And let me know if you've worked with resin and wood and what you've built. And show pictures or attach pictures if you can. That would be nice to see everyone else's projects. Or tell me about your worst epoxy resin leak. Always good to hear stories like that too. So there it is, all done, and here are some photos. So until next week, peace out.